Hello, Gothic literature lovers and horror fans. I am JS Larimore, aka Jax, and today in the studio, I have with me Rebecca Jones-Howe. She's returning again to talk about her book Ending in Ashes, which is now available on thecrowshop.com if you want to check it out. So, without further ado, welcome to Ravens and Writing Desks. Hello again, Rebecca Jones-Howe. Thank you for coming back onto Ravens and Writing Desks with us. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm excited.
I am too. I had a lot of fun last time you were here, so I'm really looking forward to talking to you again. And how has things been going?
Not too bad. It's been really exciting since the book came out and everything. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. So tell us, for anybody who may not know, the name of your book and what it's about.
So the book is called Ending in Ashes. It's a short story collection of neo-Gothic fiction. So it's kind of Gothic fiction tropes. Balance. It's basically kind of mainstream minimalist fiction, but with a lot of the Gothic tropes from classic Gothic stories.
Awesome. And how many stories are in there?
11.
11. Okay. Just so for anybody who may have missed your last interview, that's the cover there. It's absolutely beautiful, very nostalgic, and I just adore it. I've been in love with it since the first time I saw it. So,
Yeah, they did
um,
such a good job. Yeah.
they really did. Where can people order Ending in Ashes
So you
for?
can get it from all kind of the mainstream places, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, I think. But you can get them from the Quill and Crow shop. I think there are still some of the promo boxes left that you get some extra little goodies in there as well.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that too. What can they expect if they are able to snatch one of those promo boxes?
So you get actually a little postcard, and then there is like a little kind of key fob, the old style hotel key fobs, and it actually ties into one of the stories from the collection as well.
That's really cool. What story is that from?
It's called Honeymoon, and it's actually the one that kind of it's featured on the cover, so the characters
Okay,
on the cover are kind of featured in that story as well.
that's awesome. Can you tell us, without spoiling anything, a little bit about what goes on in that story?
So basically, it's kind of like an old school kind of younger, naive girl kind of hooks up with an older guy, which is kind of, a female kind of romance trope, I guess.
Yeah.
It's told in second person. It takes place kind of in the 70s, which was kind of like a pivotal time for women in
Oh,
terms of
yeah.
independence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's as far as I'll go. Yeah, it's I get a lot of good feedback on that story. It was one that I probably did the most like experimenting with. It was really fun to write, but yeah, it's probably the darkest and most like sexually graphic out of all the stories in
Ooh,
the collection, but
yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting. I think that was the one I wanted to read the most. I've got to get myself a copy too. ASAP. How's the reviews coming in? How's the feedback on it?
Pretty good. I've had some really good ones that have been like a nice little ego boost and boosting the serotonins there. I check every day. A lot of people have been just recently getting their copies as well, so it's just kind of a fun and exciting time when your book comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that time, but also very nerve wracking. Checking reviews every day, and
It is like I sometimes just expect like instant gratification from it, but it takes a while for a book to kind of catch on and, for the word of mouth to kind of go through book talk or other reading communities. So I'm just trying to be patient. It's hard. But yeah.
well, I noticed that your TikTok was expanding to include uh, some book talk content as well. How's
Yeah,
that going for you?
I've tried to like I'm not really good at marketing and I don't like scheduling things or scheduling to film videos. So I kind of just do that kind of stuff spontaneously
Yeah,
whenever, the inspiration strikes, I'll try to like do something. I would like to do it more often, but again, I work part-time. I'm a mom. Just finding time to
yeah,
carve out for that kind of stuff is few and far between, but I really would like to do it more because it is really fun
yeah,
engaging with book talk stuff and especially discovering other indie authors as well. I've read a lot of really great books recently, and it's just, I would love to spend more time actually reviewing them and engaging with the authors and stuff. I'm
Yeah,
slowly kind of dipping my toes in there, but again, it's a timing thing and it's hard, and I try to take the time I can to do it.
it is hard. And it's also just the algorithm over there is just a little bit discouraging, especially when you're trying to expand your content and you're known for one thing and a certain group of hashtags, and then you try to branch out and you don't see the views that
Yeah.
you normally see or the interaction you normally see. So I know that's always discouraging for me.
It can't, like, I don't, again, I don't think about it that much. So I guess at times I feel like, oh, this video is really taking off, and it gets like 50 likes, and to me
Yeah,
that's like taking off. Um I
I
guess
mean that's exciting for me too.
yeah. Like, I guess, like, because I kind of have, like, I do fashion, it was kind of my main thing for doing TikTok. It was just taking my daily outfits, but doing a video version of it. And then
Yeah,
Instagram started really pushing the reels, and it's just trying to put the same stuff on the same platform. It's just, again, it's a whole thing, and I don't have those skills, but
yeah,
yeah, so it's kind of like interesting because I've had a few people who aren't readers actually buy my book just from some of my TikTok videos. So honestly, I guess if there's anybody out there that isn't sure, like, just be yourself on the internet. Like, you never
yeah.
know what people will catch on to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing there is just being genuine and people pick up on that. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't have anything that I stick like hobby hop, so Fox is a hot mess.
Yeah,
Unless
like I
you're
think I
into
think we
something,
all do. There's people who can curate themselves a little bit down so that their profile is more like
yeah,
refined and stuff. But I want people who are real, and it doesn't look like they spend 8 hours a day in front of the computer making their Instagram profile look
yeah,
perfect. Like, I prefer people who are a little bit more chaotic, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. So are you working on anything else right now, or is it all ending in ashes? Do you have time for other writing projects? What's
I
how,
have been working on a novel lately. It's like a satirical, like, erotica.
oh
It's
yeah.
kind of a, yeah, a balance between, like, you know, mommy porn and like true crime obsession. It's kind of like
Oh,
balancing
okay.
those things out. Yeah, so I've been writing that since like last November. I'm working on the third draft right now. So I'm kind of hoping I can finish it by this coming November, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
I know that feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get used to the whole process of writing a novel as well. So it's like, this is my kind of second serious novel project that I've done. And
Yeah.
it's like, it takes time to learn how to write a novel. So, and it's
Oh
a lot
yeah.
easier than it was the first time round. So I think, a novel in a year, a few drafts in a year, like, I'm doing okay, but I'm still hard on myself. And I wanted
Right.
to finish it by the end of summer, and I didn't, but yeah.
I know I've got my collection that I keep saying I need to finish it. I did finally finish one of the stories, so I made some
Hmm.
progress. School's back
Yeah.
in session, so that helps. I have a few hours of quiet time at home, but it's been
Yeah,
a long hard
exactly.
road.
Yeah, and you gotta celebrate those small victories. Like, you finished one,
Yeah,
that's a little chunk done, right? Like, it's so
yeah,
hard to just not do that, and it's easier to just guilt yourself, I find, a lot of the time. But
yeah.
yeah.
But a novel is draining. It's so just you have to keep, a short story. It's a few thousand words and you're done. Those characters can be put to bed. But a novel is such a commitment. It's so draining.
Yeah. Mhm. And I guess, like, right now, I'm just trying to at least let myself just kind of discover the characters a little bit more. Like, I can spend time, just getting sucked into a YouTube wormhole. Like, sometimes the weirdest stuff just ends up inspiring me and giving me, like, characterization for my characters. Um, like, I just recently rewatched that, like, Woodstock documentary on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, holy crow. Like, I'm just gonna, like, I put a lot of the Woodstock 99 stuff into my main character, and it actually helped flesh out a lot of the stuff that I had with, like, her backstory and everything.
Right.
So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, and you want to have that done hopefully by November. Are you going to indie publish it or are you going to try
Yeah.
to find a home for it?
I'm probably gonna do indie publishing. I just find, like, especially in terms of like traditional publishing, I've done the whole trying to find an agent thing, And I mean, I guess in terms of my experience, it went well. I had quite a few like full requests and stuff like that, but it's
Yeah,
just such like a long and just agonizing process. And I get like the novel that I was originally querying, like I'm at the point now where I don't know if I want to go back and fix that book because it's just been
right.
so long now that the passion for it is kind of lost, and
Yeah,
I'm on to the next thing already. And I really like the small press kind of world because you get a lot more personal feedback from
yeah,
readers and reviewers and other authors in the community, and it's a quicker process. And I just feel I would rather stick with kind of the small pool than like
yeah.
the large mainstream pool. I don't know if my work has like a really big mainstream appeal anyway. I guess I was kidding myself for the longest time because I thought I did, but I mean, maybe it
I
does. I don't know.
try
But
not to though. Honest, because for me, and I say this in the nicest way possible without trying to diminish anybody's work or say anything bad about other authors. Publishing houses are looking for a lot of carbon copies of each other because
mhm,
that's what sells. So they're not trying to branch out and find originals or something different. So it's okay not to be mainstream for me, I think.
exactly. And I think it's fine to have big dreams too, the people who do go out there. And
Oh,
if
yeah,
there is a day that an agent does kind of come out of the water and talk to me, I'll probably have some work to show them.
right.
It happened once in the past. I had an agent ask me if I had like a novel or something in the works, and at the time I didn't. So it was just the timing didn't work out, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, either way you want to go. I prefer the indie and small press. And now I think, especially, we're seeing a lot of negative things and scandal things coming out with traditional publishing. Um, Not the authors so much as the industry itself. So,
It's the
uh,
business, like the whole
yeah,
business
the
side of it.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm
even
kind
like
of
with the whole
okay
writer
with
strike and
it.
all that in, movies and TV, like it's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's very stifling on one's creativity, I feel,
Yes.
at least that kind of world of things. So, I've found kind of a home just in smaller presses and,
Yeah.
more niche kind of publishing. I think that there's a good community of readers and writers there, and it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, you know, it's a little bit more private and personal, and there's just a lot more impactful writing
Right.
out there. Yeah.
I mean, how many traditional publishing houses do you think, if you have an issue, you can go to the owner personally
Yeah,
in
like
a message? You're like, hey, I have this problem. You're in a DM level with that owner. Most of that's not
yeah.
going to happen in a traditional publishing level, and that's the nice thing about small press is it's more family oriented, um,
Mhm.
as far as how they treat their employees and how they treat their authors.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
like that too. Um, so what about after you finish that? Do you want to do another collection? What do you see for the future for
I
yourself?
I don't know yet. Like the book that I'm working on now, I kind of had the concept for it to potentially be a trilogy.
Hmm.
So, like I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself to write it. I still love short stories and have been coming up with the odd, short story idea. I
Yeah,
haven't written anything yet because I've just been fully immersed in the novel world. So,
right,
at some point I would like to go back and write some stories because I do have like a half finished collection that I don't have like quite enough stories for to send it out
right.
there yet. But yeah, I'd like to just keep doing a mix of both and just see what happens.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
no major plans yet. I'm still just trying to like, chart, I guess, my author career. I don't know. Like
right.
my
I mean,
first
you don't have to commit. It's a slow business, so
Oh yeah, my first book came out in 2015 and then now it's 2023, so, like I don't think I'm ever going to be one of those prolific authors that's got like 20 books under their name. Like that's just
mm-mm.
never going to be
Yeah,
me.
I can't do that
I
either.
admire the people who can do that. I think that's like there's some a lot of ambition in there and just a lot of creative
Yeah.
energy, but I
Oh,
just
they
can't.
are
It's not
super
me.
impressive, and
Mhm.
most of them organized, and I'm just not any of those things.
No. Neither.
um, I keep looking at your shirt. I get to see this white shirt you're wearing because I love your fashion TikToks, and you
No,
always have such a
this is
such a
actually
way
like
with
a
fashion.
so like this is actually just like a Victorian like style, like ghost
Yeah,
robe, like ghost lady robe. I just threw it on for this 'cause
that's
I've been in pajamas all day. So,
oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Listen, I just put on a t-shirt so I didn't look like I was also in pajamas.
I know I took half an hour. I'm like, I'm not gonna do my hair, but I'll just do some makeup. Um, yeah, it was a mom day today. My kid goes back to school tomorrow. Like, back to the fall grind, right?
Yeah, and they haven't started yet. Like,
No, like in Canada, I feel like the US just starts so soon. Like, I'm like, it's still summer though. Like, yeah, we
yeah,
start
we
like
do.
early first week of September is most of Canada, as far as I
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, every year in the U.S. they just start earlier and earlier. Another week, another. I'm like, oh my gosh, will you guys stop?
I know it's like August starts and all the kids are going back to school. That's what it feels like from my my
Mhm.
perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I. What are you doing? Okay, that's a good question. What are you doing in real life and not online marketing? Do you have like book signings in the works or any plans to do that kind of thing?
Like, not really. I live in just kind of a mid-sized town. Like, I don't Canada, or at least where I live in Canada, I'm sure if it was like Vancouver or Toronto, there's larger like writing conferences and,
Yeah,
groups of people, but I just live in like Kamloops, British Columbia, which, there isn't really like a huge literary hub here or
yeah.
anything. Um, like I'll probably try to sell some of my books at like the local bookstore. I'm trying to get my books into like there's like kind of like a goth store we have in our city now.
Oh,
So I'm
cool.
hoping I can get some of my books in there because they do sell books and zines and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, they do like kind of a night market. So they have
Oh,
vendors,
that's
local vendors,
cool.
crafts and stuff like that. So I'm hoping I can try to dip my toes into that. But again, it's just like there's not too much going on around me, and I'm not
Right.
willing to drive 4 hours to Vancouver to like do stuff
Yeah, I
there.
don't blame you.
So it's just yeah.
We've done some things you wouldn't really think of, and the last one we did with my writers group is we did a pop-up bookstore at a local brewery.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they just kind of let us all come in and set up tables where we sold books, and then they did beer deals and drink deals. And
Mm-hmm.
so they advertised for us, and we advertised for them. So, and I know there's a coffee shop here that lets you do book signings. So you could just reach out to some local businesses. You never know who would be like, yeah, of course, come
Yeah.
on, set up
Yeah.
a
Like I'm
table in the
just
corner.
like I know there's like a writers group in my city, but it's mostly
Yeah.
like seniors in it. I
Yeah,
don't know
ours
if
is
there's
a
any.
lot of seniors too.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know if there's I just am too like nervous and too much of an introvert and a hermit to like put myself out there in that way, Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I know I should branch out, but that's just me being stubborn, right? Like
Yeah. Maybe a farmer's market or something.
yeah. We do
I
have
think
that.
people would like
Yes.
crafts and stuff at farmer's markets, so you never know.
Yeah.
I'm not really good at that either, so I don't even I don't even put in enough thought to keep like personal stock of my books on hand.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, do you have any? I'm like, no. You can
And
go on
I
Amazon.
did I just ordered like a whole bunch. So like if I get into this night market and have like,
Yeah,
so I'll have some on me eventually. But yeah, I've had people ask, I'm like, oh right, I guess I should have done that. Like should have ordered them sooner, but in
yeah,
time. Hopefully by then there'll be like a bit more buzz on the internet and stuff like that.
yeah,
So it'll
right.
be yeah. Hmm.
So important information for you authors out there. Keep your stock on hand. People are going to ask for it. Okay, so we can play this game. We're not very far into, but that's okay. How's the fashion thing going on TikTok?
It
You're still doing it?
Oh yeah, it's not too bad. I feel like, so every day I slowly get a few new people. I mean, it's really fun. I find a lot of I mean, I follow a lot of fashion people on the internet and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
really like the maximalist kind of people and like the weird fashion people. A lot of them will wear stuff that like I wouldn't wear in public.
Right.
Not at this point, but I love just getting inspiration because people make fun of fashion shows, but that's kind of the whole point of fashion shows is these like absurd, crazy outfits to at least just sort of like show the trends or
Yeah.
ideas and stuff, and then you're supposed to be inspired by those to buy the kind of like everyday versions of those pieces. So like the
Right.
weird stuff at the fashions, that's not they're saying like, oh, wear this to your job, they're not
Yeah.
actually saying that. Not that I'm like that immersed into the fashion community, but I just love seeing the weird stuff that people put together. I've always been into, especially like gothic
Yeah.
fiction or like fashion and like stuff from other time periods and things like that. Growing up, I was just too nervous to wear it, so I just wore what everybody else did.
Yeah.
But I just find that it's just a really fun way to express myself, especially because, again, I'm super introverted and I don't really go out that often. Um, just putting an outfit together that just kind of conveys, a movie I just watched or, whatever I've been listening to that morning or something, and just pull,
Yeah.
just different aesthetics and stuff like that and put it into an outfit. Especially me as a millennial. I know a lot of millennials now kind of struggle a lot with how to dress and how to look trendy and how to
Yeah.
style your skinny jeans so that, Gen Z doesn't laugh at it. Um, like I'm just trying to be like more timeless, and it's just been like really fun and creative to just pull what
Yeah.
I've got and just wear it in a different way that doesn't feel, like a uniform for my generation. Because
Right.
I did wear the skinny jeans and do all that for the longest time. And
Oh yeah.
um, things are changing, and I know that there's a lot of stuff on even Instagram too, just like, oh, we'll swap this piece out for this piece, and then you won't look chuggy anymore. Like, um,
Right.
I don't really subscribe to that because it's just like we don't need to keep buying stuff. Like trends are all just about creating an insecurity about what you already have, so you have to buy something new. Um, I
Yeah.
just like I that's why I really love maximalism because it just kind of encourages you to just look what you've got. Like what kind of tacky jewelry do you have that you can, wear as a belt or wear as like in your hair or something like that. Just
Right.
to like rethink pieces that you already have and wear them differently. And it's just so fun and so creative. And you know,
Yeah.
I really like people who say they don't have fashion sense or style or anything. Like just try it. Like just try a little thing. Like it doesn't take
Yeah.
much and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I used to be somebody who just wore jeans and t-shirts, but now I'm getting into I like all the accessories and the hats and the jewelry and
Hmm.
the different coats mixing and matching styles um since I just started this series for Quill and Crow doing the goth aesthetics that I'm starting to see some of that changing what I want to
Hmm.
wear and so now I have a sewing machine and I'm going to start making some pieces to
Oh,
kind of
awesome.
supplement and play with some of those other aesthetics instead of just always wearing like my casual goth clothes or my horror clothes and just some jeans and leggings or you know what I
Yeah.
mean, just to branch out a little bit and try to do something fun and different. And I've
Yeah,
always been kind of
exactly.
eccentric and I'm okay with being a skeptical or a spectacle when I go outside. So
Yeah. And I find that, getting older, you just feel more at ease doing that, right? Like,
yeah,
I love old ladies that dress like super eccentric. It's just
me
like,
too.
just that freedom. And you don't have to worry about things being flattering. It's just like, just wear something that makes you look cool and different. And,
Yeah,
it's not always just about flattering your body or making your legs look longer or stuff like that. It's like having fun with what you own and, you know, yeah.
yeah. I think we're kind of in a renaissance for that too right now. Like more people are being body positive and more people are like all clothes are for all bodies and you can wear
Hmm.
whatever makes you feel confident and makes you feel good and it's really beautiful to see just people who aren't hiding themselves or dulling down their fashion because of their body shape or um, the area they live in or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be.
Hmm. Like it's just self-expression, and like you can see people with just that the smile on their face and the way that they're
Yeah.
beaming, and they're like, I look freaking amazing, and I'm like, yeah, you do. Like, they're wearing the stuff on the outside, but you can see how it makes them feel on the inside, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I see a lot of that on TikTok and I love it. Just people who maybe aren't really fashion accounts, but they do share their outfits and they are all so adorable and so confident and so glowing because they feel good. And I love that. That makes me so
Mhm. Yeah, and I would love to take more, like, get ready with me style videos because I mean, they're a little bit obnoxious, but they're also kind of fun because you just kinda get to see people's brains working as they're putting an
yeah,
outfit together. I love that whole process and seeing, people put it together and then share what they did,
right.
especially when it's, like, jewelry and stuff that they're using. Like, I love, like, 80s giant gaudy jewelry and belts and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And brooches, like, when people use that kinda stuff in different ways, I just think it's so
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Those videos are so hard to do though. Like I did my first one for the casual goth look, and it's just like it's just trouble. You're
Yeah.
editing and transitioning, and then I got through all the way to the end, and I had my hair and makeup done, and I was done, and then it was like um saw back to the beginning of the video, and I was wearing like my just throw on sweater that I just leave around the house when I get cold
Yeah.
or my comfort sweater, and I'm like, oh, awesome! It has all over it, so I had to go wash all my makeup off and re-record that whole
Oh,
section because it was
no.
recorded at the beginning, and I was like,
Oh, I love that kinda stuff, like, you shoulda left it. It's, like, so real, though.
it was bad. I was like, not for the first one. Maybe I'll get more real on the next ones. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's just sweaters all over my house that I just get cold and throw it on.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
there's tons on the floor here beside me, like, I'm not gonna lie.
Glad I'm not alone. Okay, so I have this game to play,
Mhm.
and what we're gonna do is you are going to. It's called Badly Describe That Bad Guy. So I'm gonna give you a bad guy from a horror movie, and I want you to describe him for somebody who doesn't know what it is, but I want you to do it badly.
Okay.
And to make it more fun, I'm gonna set a timer for 30 seconds. So you have 30 seconds to badly explain the bad guy.
Oh gosh, I'm, like, so on the spot, oh.
I have to get more and more inventive here. Okay, like this. All right.
I just hope I'll be familiar with them all.
I try not to pick any like really
Obscure, yeah.
obscure ones. So,
Okay.
okay. So there, oop, everything's got to be difficult. All right. So there's your timer. Okay. So the first one is the Deadites. And that's
I'm not I'm not
the Evil
familiar
Dead
with
series.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, well, we're gonna
Yeah,
skip
I'm
that.
sorry. I have to admit to everybody, I'm like a super coward, so I haven't watched like a lot of like staple horror movies because I'm too scared.
Oh. Okay, this one I'm certain you'll know. So the next one is Ghostface.
A dude with a sexy voice calls you.
Okay, hold on. Let me
Like,
start the timer. All right, ready? Set, go.
so
Okay,
it's like
badly describe him.
he's like a guy that calls you and he's got a super sexy voice. Like you kind of have to talk to him because why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Not that he's threatening to kill you or anything.
Yeah,
Why?
like I don't know, the first like 5 minutes is kind of hot and then it gets scary.
You're right. Yeah. No, I agree. Billy Loomis totally set off my love map.
I won't lie, I'm a stew girl.
Are
Stu
you?
just did it. Oh yeah. They gotta be like a little bit weird and he was that perfect blend of weird. Like,
He
yes.
was so just kind of kind of a goofus and weird and
Yeah, like Billy was hot for sure, but Stu
yeah.
was just so like unhinged, and it's just that little bit of unhinged that like I'm like, yes.
Okay, ready? So badly describe Hannibal Lecter.
He's like he like wants to eat you. You can have like a good in-depth conversation with him, but he just wants to eat you. Right?
Yeah. Yes. There's a reason they call him Hannibal the Cannibal.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I just feel like that would almost be kind of fun to have like a really like deep conversation with some guy that like liked you, but not like in a sexual way. It was just like, you know?
He's just whining and dining you so that you can also wine and dine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Um,
almost takes off some of the pressure. Like it's not like he wants to like bone you. It's like
right? This isn't a date.
yeah.
Okay. The Cinnabites.
That
Hellraiser.
I'm not familiar.
Hellraiser.
I don't know.
Do you know do you know Hellraiser or at least what he looks like?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
That
so go with that.
yeah, just like the freakiest dude ever. Like you know, you wouldn't want to like touch him because you feel like he'd like done drugs or something and was like putting needles in himself. Like that's the vibe that he gives off to me.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
just
mean, Pinhead is it's
yeah.
literal.
Oh, I remember like being a kid and seeing that like the cover at like Blockbuster just freaked the hell out of me. Freaked me out so much. Yeah.
Okay, but if you haven't seen even the first one, the worst part is he's not even the creepiest bastard in the movie.
Yeah, I've seen like still like screenshots of like some of the other guys in it, and I'm like, oh
Uncle Frank is so much worse.
no.
So he like creeps on his niece and he's growing skin all through the movie. He's just gross.
Ew.
Yeah. I would take Pinhead over Uncle Frank any day of the week. Ugh. Okay. Dr. Frankenfurter,
Who's that?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that
Oh, I guess it's a
one.
classic movie monster.
I know. I won't lie, I grew up like pretty like hardcore Christian, so there's like a lot of that
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
As a kid, like the essential kid horror stuff that I missed out on, and then I grew up and I never caught up.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Dr. Frankenfurter is a very tall man in a lot of makeup, and he wears a really hot corset. So
Okay,
that's
let
my
me
very
look.
bad explanation.
I'm gonna look. This is like me catching up with stuff. Okay, yeah, like yeah. I'd hang out with him. I'd get drunk
Oh,
with
he's
him.
got fabulous fashion sense. You guys would have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we'd go vintage shopping together. That's what I would do.
It'd be so fun. Okay. Michael Myers.
He's just like a regular dude to me. I don't know. He doesn't freak me out that much, but I'm really into jumpsuits, like the worker like jumpsuit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Otherwise, his face is just so plain. Like it does. I was like, I never found him like that scary. If I'm
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
I find him really annoying because he just won't die. It's so obnoxious.
And he doesn't like say anything. Like it
Yeah.
just yeah.
Just
He
walks
never
really slow and like how do you catch them? They're running for their lives and you're just like,
yeah. He always
how are you
like it's
catching them?
you'd cut to a different scene and he's just suddenly there. Like
Yeah. Give me a break. I do like how you're describing all of these on your attractive levels.
I know, right? That's what horror that's the whole point of horror, right? Like it's
Yeah, guess so.
I guess
Okay.
that was like my relationship with horror. Like
It
yeah.
was just messing up your love map for the rest of your life.
Yeah, totally. That's why I write the kind of fiction I write now, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Dracula.
I don't know, he's kind of like a classic, but I find that a little bit boring.
Right.
It's just like, I guess, like, I always wonder, like, did people think he was handsome back in the day? Because vampires are supposed to be, like, sexy and, like, like love interests, but I don't
I would
think,
say maybe some people were attracted to Bela Lugosi.
yeah, like, I
Like,
just, I, he's always been very, like, super cheesy, you know?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, like, he looks like a 1940s man. Even, no,
yeah,
not 1940s, maybe, like, more like 20s or 30s, but yeah.
yeah. And according to my last guest, he would get his ass kicked by the Count from Sesame Street. So,
Yeah. They're very similar. It's like they could be cousins, like they're long distant
yeah,
cousins that never met, you know? And
yeah,
like Count Dracula went to like a Montessori school, and then like actual Dracula like just, grew up, in some castle. I
yeah,
guess that part's kind of cool. Like he's kind of cool. He's like aristocratic that way, but
right. Well, she postulated that the Count from Sesame Street probably has good finances, so he'd be more like Iron Man
yeah.
of Dracula's. And I was like, well, the other one's got 3 wives, so he's pretty capped. Okay, this one you might not have seen the movies for. Uh, Art the Clown from the Terrifier.
I know like what he looks like, and I
Okay,
don't know. He's
go
like
with that.
too much of a stereotype. He's like just like the stereotypical scary clown. He's like the
Yeah,
scary clowns from like 2016 that was like, "No, I'm legit gonna do this stuff, guys." And then he went and
right.
did it, you know? Like the
Um, okay. I what is really scary about him if you take the time to watch the movies, but if you do, be fair warned that they are super gory. Like,
Yeah, I've heard that they're really extreme, so I was just like, I don't think
yeah,
I'm
they're
probably gonna have to
very
skip that
extreme.
one. Yeah,
So,
because that's the thing with horror. Like, I just don't like stuff where people get tortured. I don't like that kind of stuff in horror. Like, I
yeah,
love a slasher where it's quick and it just happens fast and it's a little
yeah.
bit tongue in cheek sort of
It's
violence.
not quite what you might call torture porn horror, but he does some really effed up things.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and I've heard like people say it's like, yeah, this movie just was not for me. And then there's people who are
Yeah.
like huge fans of the series of the franchise. So, like, I don't.
Um,
I'm just like, I think I'm gonna stay away from this one.
I do like them, but even for me, it's a lot. The second one was a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a big gore fan. I love
Yeah.
cheesy gore movies, but it's a lot.
Yeah, like, see, I can handle, like, Tarantino style kinda gore, like,
Mhm.
it has to be, like, a certain stylized to it, but when it's, like, actually, like, messed up, like, creepy gore, I just yeah.
And it's still a lot of like the 80s FX style gore. It's really
Mhm.
cheesy in some places and just like the blood fountains and so I think that saves it from being like the torture porn horror, but yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It skirts the line very closely between cheesy and creepy and over the top.
Yeah, it's just like the, like, just let's find the most extreme way to kill someone. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's, like, one of my boundaries there that I, like, set up.
I think people like him because he also is like really smiley and childlike while he's doing it, which gives it
Mhm.
this extra creepy. He's just creepy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kinda wish he had hair, like, stick with, like, the classic clown with, like, the hair.
Right.
Like, that's I don't know. I love the whole, like, clown aesthetic, but it's like, there's gotta be hair, right?
Yeah. I do love clowns. Okay. Candyman.
Gosh, that was so long ago. I remember, like, he's kinda hot. He's like a tortured dude. He's like I
Yeah.
feel I remember watching that movie and just like it was scary, but I just ended up feeling bad for him.
Yeah.
Like he's a tortured villain that you feel sorry for would be my description for him.
Yeah. He has a very, and uh, he's very aware of the environment. He's trying to
Hmm.
save the bees.
Which we need to do, right?
Yes.
Like
No, I agree with you. He has got some daddy vibes.
for sure. Gosh, it's been so long since I watched that, but I heard Candyman. I was like, God, that just touched on him. I was like, oh no, I wish I could have saved him, you know?
Right. Oh, that
Yeah.
was one of my favorite movies when I was way too young to be watching that movie. But
Yeah, I remember watching it like a sleepover, like a girl sleepover.
hmm
We rented some scary movies. But yeah, I think all the girls, we were probably like 12-year-olds and we all just felt bad for him. Like
yeah, it's so sad. All right, last one. I know that you'll know this one. Chucky.
oh, um, gosh, how do I describe it? He's like a maniac and like but like actually terrifying. I can't remember the plot of the movie too much, but I was absolutely terrified. Um, and just the fact that he's like a doll, so it just makes it like creepier. I don't know.
He's a
I
plastic little maniac.
yeah, like because like it's a guy that like puts his spirit or whatever into the doll. I can
Yeah.
remember, but that I like that was the first horror movie that actually like freaked me out and like kept me up at night. Um, and I had like my friend invited me to her birthday party and she's like, are you allowed to watch scary movies? And I was like, yeah, because I lied.
Sure.
Um and
Sure.
she's like Chucky, and I didn't know what Chucky was. I was like Chucky from Rugrats, and I just said yeah. And yeah, so that was like the first thing that freaked me out. And I don't think like scary doll the whole concept of a scary doll doesn't really scare me like that much, but
Yeah.
I don't know, Chucky just there's something that
Uh,
was an effective movie from what I remember. I'll have to give it a
I
rewatch.
I think I remember just being like it was kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd seen a lot of scary movies as a kid that I shouldn't. I had older siblings and
Yeah.
they didn't do that often. So I've seen a lot of movies little that I shouldn't have been watching, but I always thought Chucky was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So like this like 3 foot doll is messing everybody up.
I need to give it a rewatch because I just
Yeah.
remember being that was like the first movie that like legit like terrified me.
And then they remade it with Aubrey Plaza, and it got
Oh
a lot of
right.
hate. But I love that movie, and I love that Chucky. He's so derpy, and he's just kind of a little broken AI toy. And he could have been good, but
He wasn't.
they kind of led him astray, being little shithead kids. But yeah, he's so derpy and broken and cute.
It was like a different vibe that they went for, I guess.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
instead of like a possessed doll, he was like a broken AI doll.
Oh, okay. That's interesting though. Like I
Yeah,
mean that is something that we're kind of freaked out about now, all right.
right. Yeah, it would be really scary, I think, if he wasn't so cute. For me, I think he's super cute. He just says weird stuff and acts weird and really broke. Okay, well, you know the drill. Now you can um, promo all your socials or your book. Put it
Yeah,
all.
so if you haven't bought yourself a copy of Ending in Ashes, please do. I love hearing feedback from people. Even if you didn't love it, like I still like hearing what people think. So yeah, go buy a copy. Try to get it from the Crow Shop because we want to support indie presses and not Jeff
Yes,
Bezos. You know, and then my socials is pretty much at Rebecca Jones-Howe on everywhere except for Twitter or X, or nobody's really there. My Twitter pro handle is at rjoneshowe. Yeah, and then I have a website, RebeccaJonesHowe.com, so you can find all my links to my socials that way as well. Yeah.
as always, this will be linked, either all of them or through Linktree in the description for you guys to check her out. Definitely get Ending in Ashes. I recommend getting them from thecrowshop.com. That's shop with two P's and an E. It'll be linked in the description. They put time and effort into the packaging. You're not just going to get a plastic bag thrown in your mailbox, and the book will come in good condition. And you're supporting an indie press. We all want to support small business, so
Yeah, and there's lots of cool merch there, so guaranteed if you wanted to add like a
yeah.
t-shirt or a tumbler or something, yeah, there's some really cool ones. Yeah.
And their shirts have all the ones I've ordered have been fantastic. They don't shrink, they don't fade. They're just really great
Yeah.
quality. So
I love mine, and I love my tumbler. It keeps everything cold like forever. So
I'm gonna
get a
order one of
tumbler.
those next.
They're awesome. I love mine. Hot or cold, honestly. I use mine for cold drinks at work, but every time I put
Yeah,
coffee in, it was hot for like hours. I felt like,
see, that's good
yeah.
right there. Okay, you can find me on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it.
I just
At
call it Twitter to make
me
Elon
too.
mad. So
I'm just gonna keep calling it Twitter. At Jax2_0 on Instagram at JS Larimore and on TikTok at Jax the Tiny Raptor and on my website at jslarimore.com. So thank you for joining me again. As always, it was super fun having you here.
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. And I'm going to order Ending in Ashes myself
Awesome.
ASAP.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
I'm sure I will. It sounds amazing. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks. That was so much fun.
Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any further episodes. And thank you for joining us on Ravens and Writing Desks.
Bye.